Hey guys, Benjamin here. In this video, I'm going to be going over what variations are and how to set them up on Amazon in your Vendor Central account. For those who don't know, my name is Benjamin. I used to work at Amazon in the vendor management team, and now I work exclusively with vendors to increase the Amazon purchase orders they receive. So without further ado, first point is, what are variations? Variations are essentially a way to link multiple product pages together by a particular, by a variation. So either by color, by size, by style, by a particular variation theme. So it's a way for customers to discover, multiple flavored products if you might have, for example, multiple kind of size products you might have from the one product page. So here's an example. We've got Apple. They've got the iPhone with a color variation over here, and then a size variation at the top here. Again, the customer can easily see all the different size and color variants that this product comes in from the same product page. And another example is New Balance. So shoes, they typically do both a size variation as well and a color variation that you can see here. So that's what they are, two examples. Now, a bit of terminology in terms of how this works in the back end. So when you create a variation, you actually create what's called a variation group or a variation family, and you can see a structure of this on the screen. So we've got, in this case, 3 child variations, so each is called a child ASIN. This is every different color, every different size or style that falls under that variation family. So here, for example, we've got 4 children, 4 colored children variations here, and they're all linked to the same variation family, and they sit under a parent ASIN. So when you create a variation group, as you can see here, you essentially create a parent ASIN in the back end, and all of the different child ASINs sit under that parent ASIN. You don't kind of interact much with the parent ASIN. Amazon doesn't place any orders through the parent ASIN. It's really there just as an umbrella kind of feature that links each of the different child ASINs together. So that's how it works in the back end. Then the question is, how do you actually set them up in Vendor Central? There's 2 ways to do this. Firstly, when you're creating products afresh and new, you can set them up using the bulk template. That's the first option, which, to be honest, I don't recommend doing. I rarely do that. Instead, what you can do is, once the product is created, you can set the variations up after the fact. And to do that, firstly, you can just raise a vendor support case, and they'll send you a template, an Excel file, which looks exactly like this on the screen. And so this will, you can fill this out, re-upload it into the Vendor Central case, then the support team will create the variation as per the template that you fill out here. And so this is just, in my experience, the easiest way to do it. The product's already created, and you can kind of create the variation after the fact. So I'll just go through this template. So in this case, we've got 3 variation families, so 3 different kind of product groups, each a different color. At the top, we've got one in orange, blue, number 2, and then in green over here. So you can either have one Excel file per variation family, and then just have these, this HP, what is this, a laptop or a desktop, and then this Strasford product. You can have them in separate templates, so one variation group per template, or you can combine them as they have done here in this example. But just make sure to color code it if you're going to use the one Excel file. In my experience, it's easy to just have them in different Excel files, different cases. It's a bit easier to track that way. So I'll just go through this top one as an example. So basically, each orange colored row is a child of that variation group. So, a different colored product or a different size product. Each of them is a different ASIN, existing ASINs, and then you just put one per row. So, you might have a black colored one here, orange over here, and then however many child ASINs you have in that family, each of them goes into a different row. And then in column B, you either put a C or a P to denote if it's either if it's a parent or if it's a child ASIN. So, if you wanted to include another one, you would do number 1. So this belongs to the first variation group. You might have another child. You put in, X, whatever the, ASIN is. And then, maybe it's an orange or, I don't know, let's do blue is your third child. So you'll put it here. And so you will do this for however many different colored or different sized or styled childs you have in that variation family. So this is pretty easy. This column you just put in the ASIN number as I just showed, and then over here you put in the title, the product name. So ideally all the product names should be pretty much the same. The only difference would be the actual variation theme. So if it's a different color, then you should clearly denote the difference in that color or a different size, style, so on. But otherwise, the keywords, like how the product is written out, should really be the same between each of the different child ASINs. And then at the top here, the row that's in white, so this is what I was referring to previously. This is the parent ASIN. Obviously, we don't yet have an ASIN number in column C, just because the variation has not been created. Once you upload this template and the variation is created, then there'll be, a variation ASIN for the parent here as well. But we can just leave that blank as we don't really need it for now. Product name, so this should really have the exact same name as each of the childs, minus the color or the size or whatever that variation theme is. Next column is the brand. So you can only create a variation with products of the same brand. So you can't create a variation group with products from multiple different brands. It has to be the same brand. So you can just put that here. And then duplicate. If there is already a variation for any of these child ASINs, you might put yes. And then this variation template, once you submit it, will override those original variations. If there isn't, which in most cases it isn't, you just put no. And then here, so this is what variation theme you want to use. Do you want to vary them by color, as is this case, for example, by style? Sorry, this is by style. So color, style, size, those are pretty much the 3 most common ones. You can actually look in this template, on the the third tab, and so this will have a list of all the possible variations. As you can see, there are many. I think there's about 1,000. But yeah, you pretty much just use color, size, and or style. Those are, in my experience, the main ones. So color name, and then we got style name, and then I think it's size name. Let me have a look. Yep, size name. So here we go. Any of these 3. But you can have a look at this in your own time. So here you'll put in that theme. What theme are you going to use? Let's just, maybe we want to do, color. And then over here we've got 3 columns. So again, these are the 3 most common ones. And so here you can actually, what is the name of that variant child, the child variant? So if you're using style, what is the style of each of the children ASINs? So here they've got Ottoman, Andio, and Dak, and then, whatever. If you were to use color, maybe these products, if they were variated by color, you would put the colors here. And then our color was blue here, so then we would add blue for this one here, and then you can remove these. So yeah, basically step 1, choose the variation theme, and then put it in column J, and then label each of the child ASINs with their corresponding variation in either column H, I, or J, whichever one is consistent with what you put here. So after you've done those things, you've pretty much set up the variation, to be honest. This you can pretty much skip. Basically, what this is Amazon have this thing called automatic variation service, grouping attributes. So this is like, sometimes you might create a product and then Amazon will automatically variate it. And so that's what the automatic variation service is. But look, if you're creating the variations yourself, which, I would suggest you do, your product's better than Amazon, you can just put the products as I've just described, and it should override this AVS automatic variation service. But in any case, you can just leave this blank. And that's pretty much it. That's all you really need to do. After you've filled out this template, you would respond to the vendor support case that you'd previously raised, attach that template, and then they should set up the variation, 24 to 48 hours, and you're good to go. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe if you found it helpful, and if you have any questions, by all means, put them in the comments and let me know. Bye.